I'm at Wyoming East High School, joined by Lady Warrior sophomore Holly Brehm, our 2017 WOAY Softball Player of the Year. Holly, congratulations on a great season, and congrats on being named our Softball Player of the Year.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the start of the season. There was a lot of anticipation coming back from your freshman year, a year where you made it to the regional final, where you lost a tough game against James Monroe. But there was a lot. Would you say there was a lot of expectation going into the season because you had so many key players coming back?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people wanted us to make it to states, so there was a lot of pressure on all of us to get there.
Looking back on it now, it's been a couple years. It's now been a full year since your freshman year. How would you assess how that went for you as opposed to getting ready for your sophomore year?
Well, my sophomore year, I knew I had to pitch a lot more, so I had to work harder and get more in shape. And I learned my freshman year how much in shape I needed to be for my sophomore year, so that helped.
Absolutely, and you got into a big sophomore year where you were very easily able to maintain momentum. How was it going out onto the circle this year as opposed to last year, because you knew what to expect?
There was a lot of pressure taken off me because I was more experienced, and it made it a lot easier coming out in pressured games and even in the easy games and do good, because I wasn't so nervous about being perfect and everything like that.
Yeah, however, you were able to maintain that excellence, not just in the circle, but also as a batter. You had 5 home runs, for example, entering the state tournament. How would you notice how your performance in the batter's box grew as the season went on?
And I always try to do my best. My number one goal is always get on base, so I'll just try to keep the ball in play and get on base somehow.
And that was part of a big offensive part of the season for the Lady Warriors that carried well into the momentum. What would you say the atmosphere was entering sectionals, because there was a lot of expectation, again, going back to you say you felt pressure to get to states. How was it entering sectionals knowing that this was the postseason?
And I was really anxious and wanted to get it started, and a little bit nervous. We all wanted to do good, and so there was a lot of pressure on all of us to work hard and win it.
But you were able to do just that with a couple wins in that championship round against Independence, and that set up a regional series with Shady Spring. That was 2 great games. Game 1 was here. It was a game where you were able to establish the momentum early and to keep it throughout the rest of the game. How would you describe that momentum, looking back on it in a couple weeks since that opening game?
I knew Shady was a good team, so I had to work hard, and I came out here and done the very best I could, and I felt like I did.
Absolutely, and then game 2 of that series at Shady Spring, that was a very great back-and-forth contest, a game of defense, a game where you were making plays as a pitcher, Miranda Allen was making plays as a pitcher. Did you anticipate something like that coming into that game because it was on the road?
I knew, like I said, Shady's a good team, so they were going to come back fighting hard, so I knew it was going to be a tougher game and it was going to be harder to get the win, but like I said, we were ready for it and we wanted to win and go to states really bad, so I think it all pushed us and helped us all to win that game.
And they were able to win that game 2-1 and advance to states for the first time in school history as a softball program. They had a very interesting matchup with Oak Glen, a back-and-forth game in that first game. How would you describe how that opening game went against Oak Glen?
I felt like, they were a really good team, and we knew that they were a good team, obviously, because they made it to states. But I felt like everyone had a lot of nerves that game because it was the first game ever played at states for us. So I feel like that game helped us get a lot of our nerves out.
And then that would, however, be a win for Oak Glen. However, that set up another game later that same day against Chapmanville, and that was a very tough game, a game where the Lady Tigers got out to a lead, but you were able to close the deficit, unfortunately, ultimately coming up short. But what were you able to take away from that game in particular in terms of how you have grown as a team this year?
We knew we were going to eventually have to face Chapmanville. They're a good team. Sometime or another, we'd have to beat them to make it. So I guess we kind of tried to learn or figure out what they were like and stuff, but they're a good team, really good team, so it was hard to figure out what they were like and stuff like that.
And absolutely, and the season did come to an end in that game against the Lady Tigers, but still a very successful season. Would you say it's probably the best season you've ever had of softball at any level to date?
Yeah, probably. I got a lot more strikeouts than I did my freshman year, and I got more hits. My batting average was better, so I feel like my sophomore year was a lot better than my freshman year, and I had a lot more confidence and more push to get to state, so I felt like it was a better year.
Well, now this is the part of the segment where we're going to ask some fun, lighthearted questions. First off, what would you say your pregame routine is? Would you say you have a favorite pregame meal before you go out and pitch?
I usually eat pizza because pizza's my favorite.
Any specific kind of pizza or specific toppings that you like?
Basically any pizza.
Basically any type of pizza. And would you say, are you also big on post-game meals, or do you stick mainly to pre-game meals?
Especially after away games, we usually go eat pizza too, so I'm always eating pizza.
Would you say that's just something you picked up this year, or from the moment you started playing softball and starting last year as a freshman here at Wyoming East?
Probably just as a freshman, I ate pizza a lot. I guess it's the easiest thing just to pick up and eat, so.
Absolutely. How would you say you have a favorite pregame song to listen to that kind of gets you in the mood, specifically for a game if you're pitching?
Not really. I like listening to music, so any kind of music usually gets me pumped up.
And then what would you say any other activities that you do that are part of your pregame routine if you're pitching as opposed to games when you're not pitching?
I'm really superstitious, so my bag always goes in the same spot. I always stretch the exact same way. I just usually do certain things. I always write Philippians 4:13 on my wrist. So I'm really superstitious about certain things like that.
And have you ever done any of those things where you do them pregame, it turns out into a loss, and you decide you're never going to do that again? Have you encountered anything like that?
Sometimes, I wore a bow one time, and we lost that game, so I didn't wear that bow anymore.
Yeah, the superstition, if it works, it works. You made a verbal commitment earlier in the year to Ohio University. It's been several months since then. Congratulations again on committing to the Bobcats. But the fact that it's been several months since that verbal commitment, how has that been able to help you relax, and you know your future is already taken care of? You don't have to worry about where you're going to be able to continue your career, because that's already, as of right now, set in stone.
Well, it took a lot of pressure off me when I done it, because then I was in the middle of my travel ball season, and I was always every time I was pitching, I was like, I got to do my best. All these college coaches are watching me, and now I can just go out there and have fun with it. So it helped take the pressure off me.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck first the next 2 years, because you do have 2 more years here with the Lady Warriors, and then we wish you best of luck in several years when you join the Ohio Bobcats squad. But Holly, thank you for joining us. Again, Holly Brehm, our 2017 WOAY Softball Player of the Year. Holly, congratulations.
Thank you.